Talofa and welcome. This brief presentation is on the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's proposed rule to designate terrestrial or on-land critical habitat for green sea turtle across the United States and its territories. This presentation focuses only on the Central South Pacific distinct population segment of laumei ena'ena or green sea turtles in the Samoan archipelago. The service shares jurisdiction or responsibility for the conservation and recovery of laumei ena'ena with NOAA fisheries. The Fish and Wildlife Service is responsible for on-land or nesting habitat for laumei ena'ena, and NOAA Fisheries is the lead for the species in the marine environment. Laumei ena'ena are listed as endangered under the Federal Endangered Species Act in American Samoa, Palmyra Atoll, Howland, Baker, and Jarvis Islands, the Territory of Guam, and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. American Samoa, Palmyra Atoll, Howland, Baker, and Jarvis Islands are within the Central South Pacific distinct population segment of laumei ena'ena, for which this presentation focuses on. However, there is no proposed terrestrial critical habitat on Howland, Baker, and Jarvis Islands. In order to help conserve and recover laumei ena'ena, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is proposing terrestrial critical habitat areas that the laumei ena'ena need to survive, specifically for areas that offer important nesting habitat. When we developed our proposed critical habitat areas, we first examined species data and laumei ena'ena nesting areas. Second, we identified what is called physical or biological features, or things in the habitat that laumei ena'ena need to survive. These on-land features in the right-hand box are unimpeded access to and from the ocean and sandy beach areas, suitable sand conditions for egg development, and sufficient darkness for nesting females and hatchlings, as artificial lighting can negatively affect nesting and hatchling behavior. And third, we also considered sea level rise, meaning areas that are currently or likely to become inundated by rising sea levels are not included in the proposed designation. In the Samoan archipelago, we are proposing 5 on-land critical habitat units or areas on 6 islands: 125 acres on Ena'ena, or Swains Island, 4 acres on Onu'u, 44 acres on Ofu and Olosenga combined, 34 acres on Ta'u, and 10 acres on Motu'omanu or Rose Atoll. No terrestrial critical habitat is proposed for Tutuila. Proposing these areas as critical habitat does not create a reserve or refuge, and it does not affect land ownership or the ability to access land or resources. Proposing these areas as critical habitat simply identifies these areas as essential for the conservation and recovery of laumei ena'ena during activities carried out, funded, or authorized by a federal agency. I'd like to conclude this presentation by reviewing the types of comments we are seeking, and in the next slide, how to send in your comments. In particular, we are looking for information on the amount and distribution of laumei ena'ena nesting habitat, current or planned activities in proposed areas, and any information on land use designations or existing management activities within the proposed areas. We are also seeking information on the ownership or local jurisdiction for some areas so that we have the appropriate entities and villages identified with whom to communicate with. You may submit your public comments electronically or via U.S. mail at the addresses on the slide, on or before October 17, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time or 4:59 p.m. Samoan Time. For more information on the proposed rule and contact information, please visit our Pacific Islands webpage on this slide. We look forward to your comments and information. Fa'afitai, thank you for listening.